Hello and welcome to Celebrate Freedom TV. And I'm so excited to be with you again on this Saturday. Listen, I need you to do something for me right now before we do anything else. You know what to do. I need you to like and share this video ASAP. We have a guest today that is going to have a tremendous testimony when it comes to managing anger and overcoming anger. And we want everyone out there to be blessed by this story, by this testimony. So I need you to like and share right now. Like and share, like and share. Also, I like to get this in the way. If you want to stay connected, please follow us on Facebook at Celebrate Freedom. Okay, there's lots of things that are going to be wonderful on that site. So please follow us on social media at Celebrate Freedom. If you would like to follow me personally, please go to Life Factory on TikTok. That's right, Life Factory on TikTok, and follow me. Okay. So again, today I am very excited for today's show. Anger is something that, woo, anger is very prevalent in our society today. When you think about anger and you think about our society and you think about how anger is transforming our societies to the ground zero of violence, you can't help but to wonder, is there a spot in the world for change? Is there a place for change in the world? Is anger still manageable? Is there a place that still reverences patience as a route to new? I've There's so many things that has gone on in the news lately. So many things anger related that it's amazing. You have youth, you have older people, you have youth. I mean, it's just things happening that anger or the understanding of anger could have resolved. And that has been one of the things that has gripped our nation for so long. Just everybody's so angry. Anger is one of the chief saboteurs of the mind. Anger will wrap around your mind, and anger will cause you to speak out of perceptions and to see out of perceptions that have nothing to do with God. And we just want to encourage you through this broadcast that anger can be managed and anger can be overcome. And as a matter of fact, we have a story of that today, a testimony of that today, and our special guest. So, without further ado, I would like to invite Opal to the show. How's it doing?
Hello. It's doing great, doing great.
I know that's right. So, I am so elated to have you on the show today. An entrepreneur, businesswoman, a soldier on the battlefield of the army of the Lord. A,
Amen.
and I'm very excited. Of course, I've heard some of your story, and I think that your story is really going to help a lot of people out there. So, I wanted to take this opportunity to allow you to tell your story when it comes to anger and anger management and how God healed you and continues to help you today. Okay, so
Okay.
so the floor is yours.
Thank you. So where my anger really entered my life was probably about over 20 some, well, over 30, maybe almost 30 years ago. I was abused and raped by my daughter's father. And, when I went through that period, I asked God to help me, give me the strength to walk away from that abusive relationship. I knew that that wasn't God's best for me. I knew that I didn't deserve that. In no way did I think that, I brought that on myself. I know that was the plan of the enemy. And I asked God to help me, and He did. He gave me the strength to walk away from that relationship and, start the healing process. I did go through some counseling and so on and so forth. It wasn't at the time, it wasn't Christian counseling. but it was some type of therapy for abused victims. And I went through that, but I still had some things inside. And sometimes if we don't really deal with the root of the thing, it will come out in another way at the most inopportune time.
Mm.
And
You can say that again. If you
it
don't,
will
if you
come,
don't deal with the root of a thing,
it will
that
come out
root will come out at the
at
most
the most
unopportune time.
inopportune time.
Wow, that's good.
And so you know because was abused, that anger and that lack of control that I didn't have in that situation, it came out later on and years later in my life, in my relationship, actually with my husband.
Hmm.
I became that person that abused me, and it was like an anger would come over me, and it would be little petty stuff. It wasn't even something that warranted me to act that way. And I became the person abusing verbally being demeaning, and even physical, to a point sometimes. And I had an amazing husband. I mean, he didn't retaliate against me or anything
Hmm.
like that. He knew that there really was some issues going on here. Like, what is going on? And it even came to a point where he told me, like, oh, boy, you got to get some help. You need some medication. You need something, And I said, okay. And so I went and I even got on some medication. And even the medication, that's why God works in many ways. He works with medication, He works with counseling, He works in different ways. And let me tell you, a lot of times people don't want to get on medication, but that medication helped me because it helped me. And I was only on it a short period of time. It helped me to, when things were happening, it would make me think before I reacted.
Right.
Normally we just react and then we're in a situation. And so once I got on the medication, for that short period of time, it allowed me to see, like, okay, it's not this serious. Why are you getting upset like that? And it just kind of slowed you down so you weren't in the act and then, oh my God, I'm here. Because even my anger, it wound me up in jail on several occasions.
Mm.
Because I was trying to be abusive and I was cussing and fussing and throwing stuff and doing all kind of things. And of course, I got out the next day. It was just they when you're acting irrational, they're not going to allow you to just be free because you could hurt
Right.
yourself and hurt others.
Right.
You know, and so at that point, I really realized that the Holy Spirit really ministered to me and told me that the enemy is trying to destroy you.
Mm.
Scripture
Hmm.
talks about he's here to kill, steal, and destroy.
Hmm.
He wanted to destroy my life, my marriage, me physically, others physically, because when you are so angry and acting out of control, you see black. You don't
Right.
red. You don't care if it's a child, if it's whoever, that's in the midst of it, and you're just like totally out of control. And so which the Holy Spirit really began to minister to me and let me know this is the enemy trying to destroy you, Opal. You know, and I was like, wow. And I don't know why I never really looked at it from that aspect,
Hmm.
that it was like demonic, my behavior and things like that, But once I really understand that, it's like a light bulb came on for me. And like I really didn't understand, spiritual things and that deep at that time. I wasn't where I was on my walk now and my knowledge of my relationship with God and Christ and certain things I didn't understand. But even in that moment, He met me where I was
Hmm.
and He ministered me. The word says that He's our comforter, He's our teacher,
Right.
and He comforted me and He taught me, Opal, this is not for me. Like, this is not a part of me. This cannot go on anymore. And once I had that revelation from God, I was able to, you know, not go from 0 to 100. When I felt that thing rising up in me, I would be like, "Oh no, devil, not today! You're not going to take me back there. Like you done took me to jail. You done all kind of things before, and like that's not glorifying God. Because what the enemy will do, he'll have you doing all this foolish stuff, and he'll drop you off right there and leave you there, and then you stuck. And then when you come to your realization,
Wow.
oh my God, why am I here?
Hmm.
And once that happened, I could feel that thing coming on, and now it doesn't even like it. I've gotten to a point where even if I get like something upsets me or something like that, in
Mm-hmm.
that aspect, I will not. I don't go the way the enemy down the path he's trying to take me. I stay right here. If I gotta pray, if I gotta walk away, if I gotta say, okay, we'll come back and deal with this or whatever, because the things that I was getting upset about and things, they were petty things. They were like, it was a control thing because I lost control at that time when I was abused. It was like I wanted to be in control. And when stuff was not going my way because I couldn't control it, I would get angry.
So that's a good point right there. You the source of your anger, the beginning of your anger was because the situation and your perception was out of your control.
Hmm.
And one of my I guess what how can I say it? One of my biggest concerns about people is the how they respond in moments that they feel they have no control.
Hmm.
9 times out of 10, and we talked about this, some of this on the other night.
Hmm.
Whenever anger stirs, it's normally not about the person, but it's normally something that the situation or the circumstance, you know, where you feel like, okay, this is something that you shouldn't be doing. Like you should know you shouldn't do this.
Hmm.
You should know that whatever you are doing and whatever is happening to you at that point, like that person should know, that individual should know not to do this. And it's funny because anger and you had alluded to, a situation where you weren't your anger didn't come out until later.
Hmm.
That's interesting, and I'm gonna ask you a question here and let you elaborate on it. Why do you think that the anger at that time, you know, you were out of control? At the time you were out of control, uh it didn't come out then, it came out later. You understand what I'm saying?
Hmm.
In other words, your anger started, it was birthed with that situation,
Hmm.
but it really didn't show its head, it didn't come out, until later on in another relationship. So how did that dynamic work? Do you, in other words, do you think your anger can that your anger was covered by fear? It was covered by, of the circumstance, or you know,
I,
how
I
does
think
that?
I think I felt like because like I went through the counseling,
Mhm.
at the time that like okay, I was good. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like I dealt with this, like I faced it head on. I didn't, run. I felt like I was good, but that thing was deep rooted.
Mm.
It was deep rooted, and
Mhm.
you know because a man did this to me, anytime I felt like I got close to a man, like, my, the man that God had sent for me, that's when I feel like because I didn't dealt with that, like the enemy was going to use that to destroy my marriage, destroy, my destiny, where I was supposed to be, what my husband and I are supposed to be doing in ministry. I felt he knew like how powerful we would be together and the things we could do for the kingdom. And at the time, like it's like when you going through the motion of the anger, like
Mhm.
it's like you're not going to stop until you have satisfied that. For
Right.
lack of a better term, like it's like you got to satisfy it. You got to work it all the way out. Like you could do one thing and say you do this and do this to this, but you keep on going till that emotion is satisfied.
Right.
And that's why a lot of times I wound up, I wouldn't stop. Even the police were there, and they said, "Ma'am, we going such and such." And the anger just had me to the point I didn't even care that the police were there. It didn't matter that your rational cognitive mind is not even there with you when you're in that moment because
Right.
they're telling you, "I'm about to take you. If you don't calm down, you're about to go." And that didn't make me calm down. It even enraged me more.
Right.
And
So
so, like I said, it'll pop up at the most inopportune times.
right, because you're looking at too, we're looking at this, this rage and this anger, and we're understanding that, okay, we do have two types of anger within us. We have a divine
Mhm.
anger and we have a human anger. And we do understand that this human anger is very, very self-centered, is always in a place to where it just wants you to do what it wants to do, and it's very retaliatory in its response. So I wonder why do people get angry at situations that happen to them, but then they lash out on other people. You see what I'm saying?
Hurt people.
Right. Hurt people hurt people, so but you said you went to therapy. You was listening to the therapist and all this other stuff, and still didn't really get the help you needed. So what were some things? How did God show you? What were some things God showed you, or some ways He showed you? How did He show you, where you were, and how did He help you from where you were to the understanding of, wow, I need to watch this.
I mean, he showed me that, this is not how I created you to behave, act. Like, this is not of me. Like, when you're in this type of anger, this human anger, that is, we learned in, it's like, it's not, it's not divine anger. It's not a righteous anger. It's more like a demonic anger, because,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I gave you this husband, this amazing husband. I handpicked him for you, and you're treating him like this. He doesn't deserve this.
Right.
He doesn't. You know, he didn't do anything. He's not that guy.
Right.
But what I felt, the anger that was coming out was, should have been directed to my daughter's father, not him. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what happens, though. If you don't deal with it, then it's gonna be trajected onto somebody who doesn't even deserve it. And God really had to help me, understand and see that this is not how I created you. I'm sorry that this happened. I mean, even minister me, I'm sorry that this happened to
Mm-hmm.
you, but this is not the way to get it out.
Right.
Not the way to get it out. And just, we're getting in my word, reading the word, like, and I did get to some Christian counseling in there after. The initial thing was like 30 years ago, but like
Right.
in the latter part, I did do some Christian counseling, and I understand, and I had to deal with it, because in that other counseling, I don't really feel like I really dealt with it. I felt like I just went through the motions. Okay, I'm going to counseling, and I'm better, and I'm fine. And that wasn't the case at all.
Right. Because it seems like anger is just uses us as an incubator.
Mm-hmm.
It's like anger uses us as like a host, you know, and these situations is almost like going back to what you said when, the Lord was like, hey, I'm using this. This is going to destroy your life. Like, this is
Mm-hmm.
really going to destroy your life. It's like fear, or putting you in situations that cause fear, is really a facade for anger to be planted.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easy to get out of these, to see the situation and be in the situation, because what you went through, man, I thank God for your testimony. You made it out, but it's like you were put in a season of fear, not just to be in fear, but to birth anger at the same time, unhealthy anger.
Mm-hmm.
And now that unhealthy anger lies in that season of fear. It just lies dormant. It just sits there, lies dormant, lies dormant. And then the next time you get into a relationship, you go to another relationship, or another job, or another place, or whatever, the root of that fear, which is anger now, raises his head out of nowhere. You know,
Yeah.
I have definitely seen and been a part of that. It was like, these folks didn't do nothing to me, you know,
Mm-hmm.
where I'm at. Or even if you're in a situation right now where, somebody physically did do something to you,
Mm-hmm.
and you find yourself angry. I want to ask the viewers out there, have you ever been angry without fear?
Wow.
Have you ever been angry without fear? And this is why we have to really unpack it and uncover it. and look at, okay, that emotion in that way. I can't think of any, I can't think of situations where anger did not develop from fear as you're
Mhm.
talking, and I'm thinking about what you're saying,
You know what?
and
And
go
I
ahead.
just, I just had a revelation just talking right here, like
Yeah.
that I never really looked at. Like I gave up because I didn't press charges, like I let it go, whatever. And I
Hmm.
gave up the opportunity to address him and it at the time. And then because I gave up that opportunity, I'm putting that anger and that fear where I could have directed it toward him through court and legal manners.
Right.
I didn't at that time, and now I was directing it toward somebody who didn't deserve it because
Right.
I gave it up right then. I could have he could have got it whatever, his day in trial and maybe punishment, but like it was like, man, he did that to me and he didn't get anything and it didn't happen with him, and I didn't do that. I wasn't able to like punish him, so I'm punishing this person.
Right. And it's like, okay, we we look back at things, and we say, okay, well, we made that decision. Like you said, you made that decision not to press charges, not to do any of that. And I think that because even though he did what he did deep down on the inside, there was a love for God that could show you that he was just, out of his, not in his right mind.
Hmm.
So you say, you know what, I love, for whatever reason, I'm not afraid no more. I'm not afraid of you. I just want to get out the situation.
Hmm.
Then we walk away and we start thinking about that thing like, wait a minute. We start thinking about, I should have did this, and this,
Hmm.
Where does that even come from? You know what I'm saying? Because now when we first made the decision, to walk away and say, all right, yeah, I'll forgive you, but I won't forget. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? And now when we walk away like that, what we're really doing is we have allowed anger, to really still kind of linger.
Hmm.
You know, we haven't really, we didn't really deal with it, and say, okay, I'm very angry right now, but it's not a retaliatory like you were. I think that in that time you were operating in a divine anger. It's like I'm angry at him, but I'm gonna let God have his vengeance.
Hmm.
And then we get in situations and circumstances, in new situations and new circumstances, and then all of those feelings start to mount up, you
Hmm.
know and then we feel as though, oh no, I'm going to handle this situation this time
Yeah.
differently than what I did the last time.
And anytime any type of opposition comes up, like, if you feel like you got to retaliate back, and it's
Right.
not even that serious. It's not even, it's minute. It's not even anything considered that, but it's any opposite. I got to take control now because I don't want to be, I lost control. I didn't have control in that situation. So I got to have control. And then if I got to have control, it doesn't go my way. That's when the anger takes off.
Wow, I just heard this while you were talking. The birthing of anger, or let's say the consistency or the keeping of anger, or what anger uses to stay with you, is through that channel of control.
Hmm. Wow.
It's like anger feeds off you feeling you're in control, even though
Hmm.
that retaliatory aspect could land you in jail. That retaliatory aspect could land you, divorce. That could land you
Hmm.
in the grave.
Yeah. They don't
But
care.
it don't care.
Hmm.
it
They
it
don't
it,
care.
it feeds off of retaliation and control. It feeds off of, okay, you now are in control. Be angry. It's okay.
Hmm.
You're in control. And as soon as you lose that control, or that control is threatened, it fires back. It like
Hmm.
jumps back. It like a python. It says, no, 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 no. You remember this that happened, and you remember that happened, and you remember this that happened, and how
Hmm.
can you live without me telling you when it's time for you to retaliate in this situation? Do you remember when you didn't listen to me the last
Hmm.
time?
Hmm.
you know and you get so used to listening to this perspective
Yeah.
that now you feel like, without anger, I'm being fake you know
Yeah.
oh my
Yeah.
goodness. You
Like
know what I'm
you,
saying?
you got to react. Like if you don't
Right.
react, you know,
Right.
and the word says be angry and sin not. It's okay to get angry, but I was getting angry and I was sinning a lot. Not. I was sinning a lot. Okay.
Right. Right.
I was sinning a lot. Like, and it's just like that Holy Spirit, man. He just comes in and he just helps you. He helped me. Like he had to make it plain for me.
Mm.
And now, like, I mean, it's been years since that is, I've had that type of anger. And now, when I get angry or I get upset, like I have coping mechanisms. You have to have coping mechanisms
That's good.
in life when things are happening. Like you can't go back to what wasn't working for you. Like that was not working for me. It was taking me almost getting locked up. I did get locked up, but I didn't get any charges or anything. But like you have to have coping mechanisms. It might be prayer. It might be call up a brother or sister. I feel like I'm getting angry. I feel like I'm going through. Take a walk away. Like the enemy does not want us to do any of that. He wants us to react. So he can drop us off after we've reacted right over here. And he's left you now. Oh, look at you. Look where you at now. You know? So you have to have coping mechanisms. And it's hard sometimes to walk away. It takes a bit, say, be the bigger person. Sometimes you have to be that bigger person,
Right.
and walk away or go out for a drive, do anything, to like let that moment pass because the enemy wants you to react on that moment, on that emotion, on
Mm.
that lack of control. He wants to take you from 0 to 100. So when you see him coming, you have to say, okay, I see you coming. I'm making a detour and I'm going this way. And you have to have like, for lack of a better term, an exit strategy when you get angry. You have to have exit strategy.
Right. Because because he makes, or anger makes itself seem like it's the anger. It's the exit
Hmm.
strategy.
Hmm.
So now it's like you got to learn a whole new lifestyle.
Yes.
You
Yes.
gotta learn a whole new way of looking at things. You gotta
Yes.
learn a whole new way of coping, as you said, coping mechanisms. You
Yes.
gotta learn this whole new way now that you didn't have to do before, because you just passed out.
Yeah.
That's all that matters, and you're right. Anger is just another way that the enemy keeps you away from your destiny.
Bonded.
Right.
Bonded.
It keeps you as the prisoner,
Hmm.
and that person that you angry with goes on about their life, you
Yeah.
know
They not even thinking about you.
right. But it's definitely set up to keep you in a place to where you
Hmm.
never experience destiny and greater things in your life. Can you imagine how many people who are listening, or how many people we know who are out there that they just want to be angry all the time?
Yeah, and they think it's okay and there's nothing wrong with it and they embrace it, And what you have to realize is you're embracing the enemy of being angry all the time.
Right.
That's not God. God is peace, joy, love. Like it's the opposite. And people are, like you say, Pastor Marquette, they're comfortable with
Hmm.
being angry, and this is just how I am.
Hmm.
That's the old saying. No, this is just not how you are. You can be different, but they're just so comfortable. And even saying in that, like I found out, like in my family, another family member, 4 age difference than me. And when I say another family member, I want to explain, like I'm adopted, like so, like I didn't really meet my other family till like I was 26. I'm 48 now, and like this is a whole nother topic, but you really understand some things: nature versus nurture. I said
Hmm.
I'm gonna write a book, Nature versus Nurture.
Hmm.
And for me not to be around this family member or even to copy her behavior, and she was acting the exact same way with anger toward her significant other. When I say the exact, it was almost like a carbon copy of the things that we would say, do, the level that the anger would take us, and drop us off here. I mean, and so before I really knew about, like, things in your family, your bloodline generations, I didn't really understand that. But that was like really eye opening for me to be like, wow, this person acting just like me. This is not learned behavior because I didn't grow up with them. I didn't copy them. I didn't see this. I saw the exact opposite, in my household. I didn't see any violence, any anger, any of that stuff displayed in our home growing up. So for me, it really was like, wow, this spirit world is real.
Right. Because just because we didn't see it growing up doesn't mean that life doesn't present us
Mhm,
with our own circumstances. So,
mhm,
you you went through, you were fortunate enough not to see it coming up, but then you were thrust in
Thrust
some
into it.
into some circumstances that, you know, was trying to take you out of there,
Yeah.
and you sitting and you saying, okay, you just don't realize, like, I'm not trying to lash out. I just don't realize that how hurt I was,
Hmm.
and you're managing it, but you're not managing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. A
You know
lot
what
of
I'm
times
saying?
we think we're fine, and I was far from
From
fine.
fine.
Far from fine. I mean, it took years for it to really come out too. It was like, that probably happened when I was like maybe 20
Hmm.
or whatever. Maybe 20 I was, maybe 2019 or 20. And like I'm 48 now. I've been married 10 years, 11 years this year. So it really didn't come out to maybe 10 so years later, 10, 12 years later. Like it was suppressed all that time,
Right.
you know.
And that's another thing. So, suppressed anger, is it, how does anger become suppressed? Like, that is one topic that I want to unravel.
Hmm.
How does something that you are angry about become suppressed, especially when you're in a situation or you're dealing with a situation, right? And you are angry about this situation. I've noticed that we cause that suppression
Hmm.
because we'll keep the anger inside because, oh, I love that person, so I'm not going to
Hmm.
say anything.
Yeah. And it's
Or
hurting.
we'll keep suppressing it because, oh, that's that's my homeboy, my homegirl, or my this, and then we don't do ourselves no favor. We just be suppressing,
Mhm.
suppressing, suppressing,
Depression on
suppressing,
top of on top on
on
top on
top,
top
on
on
top, on
top on
top.
top until you
Right.
explode.
Right. And like in that situation, you love that gentleman. So, your anger was suppressed, 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 suppressed,
Hmm.
and then now he's out your life, he's gone.
Hmm.
You never got to release the suppression.
Pushing toward him, who it was
Right.
directed, and
Right.
and so you just have it down here.
And that's what we see in this generation now. That's what we see,
Hmm.
just improper, unhealthy uses of anger.
Hmm.
Just you're suppressing it by your decision. It was my decision to be in some of these circumstances, even though we say life does lead us certain places and things like that. But it was definitely my decision. And now I'm making a decision and I'm suppressing, 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 suppressing. And now I'm over here frustrated and I'm trying to, and then they trying to figure out why you blowing up. Well, you know, I've never got the chance to release it.
He said, "Yeah,
You
yeah."
know,
It's like a balloon. If you keep putting air in a balloon and keep putting air and keep putting air, eventually it's gonna burst.
exactly, exactly, and that's why we're in this series now. Of understanding the divine anger and of understanding, the anger on the inside. You need to understand the difference between divine anger and human anger, and you
Hmm.
need to know when God is saying move on. Know
Mm,
when to,
that's
what
good.
Kenny Rogers used to say, know when to hold them, know
Oh, know
when to
when to know
fold them,
when to walk away, know
know
when to
when to
run,
walk away, and then sometimes you got to know when to
know when to
run.
run. Yeah,
Wide
run,
open. But
run.
we're in a place and a time and the churchy folks will say dispensation where we're running to it instead of running
Hmm.
from it. And I just pray that people will see testimonies like this
Hmm.
and listen to testimonies like this where God brought you out. Now, on the flip side of things, uh what has God done for you? Just the leaps and bounds He's taken you to, in order to, now, how you feeling about it now?
Now, I'm glad I'm on the other side. Like he brought me out to the other side, and even when I was going through this process,
Hmm.
I really felt a call to like help, at the even at the time after I just came out because I was young, like 20, I wanted to help other women, who were in these type of situations, these domestic violence situations and things like that. I wanted to be able to help them. After I came out, even though then I really wasn't ready, but now I know I wasn't ready. But you
Right.
know, I really, but now as being mature and on the other side of that, like he's really put it deep in my heart to be able to help people. And even with the mental health, the Christian counseling, the spiritual counseling, that is something that is very much needed for everyone. Everyone. And I thank God that He led me to New Covenant and Celebrate Freedom, the ministry you have, because in church these days, we just go to church, we pray, we you know we have a relationship with God, we deal with God, but sometimes you need somebody on the outside to help you. There
Right.
are things that we are dealing with every day, hang-ups, problems that we need to be able to address, and Celebrate Freedom address. Even if you're not going through it, somebody else might be going through it. So, it's crazy. I mean, it's not crazy how God works. Like, we were dealing with narcissism a couple of weeks ago, and then God
Hmm.
sent somebody to deal with about narcissism.
Wow.
The
Wow.
same night that I got the call on the way to Celebrate Freedom to deal with narcissism. So, we go through these things to help others, and I just thank God for like holding my hand through this walk, because He really had to hold my hand through the whole
Wow.
situation. Because if He didn't hold my hand, I probably would have said, like, the anger would have you say, forget a marriage. Forget, okay, you don't want to deal with me the way I am? Bye. I'm gone. I'll find somebody else who will.
Right.
Like, really, like, it would have you want to destroy your destiny, like, to the point where, like, He had to hold my hand and say, okay, Opal, we're going to take this walk. We're going to walk little by little, by little, by little, by little. Each day, we're going to try to implement some things. How you used to react, you're not going to react today this way. And then the next day, you're not going to react. And each time you take steps, you're further away from that person that you were, that hurt, broken person, as He begins to heal you.
Wow. That hurt, broken person, anger,
Mhm.
makes you into a very broken person.
Mhm.
Very broken. Very broken. I want to take a pause here to just acknowledge someone who is watching before we move on to the next phase, and let you know that managing your anger is possible.
Yes.
This testimony has proven that it does not matter how angry you may think you get, how far fetched or far off that you think you may be. It doesn't matter. God will meet you where you are. Her
Yeah.
story, she could have been bitter. You could have been bitter. You could have been, just stayed bitter and angry and mad, and but you saw that, hey, I have a destiny. I can help other
Mhm.
women who are going through this. I can help other people who are going through this. And that's, I think, is the key thing. Anger is designed to keep you away from destiny as
Yes.
possible.
Destiny killer.
I thank you so much for joining us today and giving us that powerful, powerful, powerful testimony. Is
Thank you.
there now is there anything you want to tell us about? I know some exploits that you're in and things like that, but do you want to share with us any of your your entrepreneurial stuff and your
Yeah,
you know what I'm alluding to?
I know what you're alluding to. Well, I have a I'm going to say slash ministry group called Faith in Forex,
Hmm.
where we teach people how to trade on the foreign exchange.
Hmm.
But it's very, very simple. God really gave me a vision several years ago. I've been in this about 5 years to be able to teach His people how to prosper
Hmm.
in the foreign exchange market. Um, and it's just wonderful. Like, it's faith based.
Hmm.
It's not, we don't charge you for anything. You can come on our platform and you can learn. You can learn for free. We get on a couple of every day in the morning and trade together as a family. We do some other things together, cookouts, trips, and things like that. It's just a nice fellowship, because the foreign exchange market really is something that they didn't teach us in school and things like that. But we want to get our piece of that $6.6 trillion a day industry that it is. And if you're interested, you can reach out, to Pastor Marquette, or me, and my name is Opal Patterson on Facebook. You can inbox me, or leave a message up under the broadcast or whatever, and I'll reach out to you because I'll be happy to be able to teach you. And anybody can learn. That's the thing. Kids, teenagers, anybody in your family, elders, anybody. So I just wanted to say that. I
And
also have a pet sitting business. That's for a pet hotel. So if you're in the Henry County, Clayton County area, or even people come from Atlanta, if you need your little fur baby pet, fur baby taken care of when you're out of town, we also do that.
wow, see, moving in many different directions. So listen, get connected. Email me, let me know, DM us, just get connected. If you need her information, we will get it to you ASAP. Take advantage of that faith in Forex. Take advantage of these opportunities. Let's get to learn each other, know each other, and support each other. Okay. Well, Opal, it has been a pleasure having you on the show
Thank you
today.
so much. Thank you so
I
much.
am very honored, and I believe that your testimony has touched so many lives. Okay, now this is not going to be the last time. All right,
No,
because
no.
there's much more to unwrap inside of you. Okay,
Amen. Amen.
amen.
Thank you.
So
I appreciate
thank
it.
you. Thank
Have a
you.
blessed day.
You too. All right. So that again was a show of God's strength in testimony. She overcame some things that some people would have not lived through. Anger meant to take her out, but she made it through it by trusting in the Lord. Now, if you're out there and you're saying, listen, I might not be as strong as she is, how can I get connected to get, that kind of level? Well, first thing that I will say is you need a church home. Okay. Now, as always, my church home, come visit us. If you're in the McDonough area, if you're in the Atlanta area or anywhere near it, just come join us. Come visit us. 154 Jonesboro Road, McDonough, Georgia 30253. We have services at 9 a.m. and 11:15. Also, we offer every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Celebrate Freedom. Now, this is the congregational meeting and setting where we take biblical principles and we apply it to mental health. And we go through the word and apply it, like I said, to mental health in order to deal with hurts, habits, and hangups. Every Tuesday at 7 p.m. at the same place, 154 Jonesboro Road. Now, it has been a pleasure today uh, on this show with you. Please, please, please like and share. And I will see you on next week. Have a blessed day.